Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claru.
And this is episode 4 of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Alchemist's Anguish. What do you think he's anguishing over?
I can only guess, but that's not fair to you. So.
I know what the truth is.
You do?
Yeah, it's his height.
Probably.
I've seen an episode of this show. I know what Edward is upset about.
Yeah.
If you want the full interaction, go to patreon.com/nerdynightly. But if you don't, stay here because you're already here. And it's time to see what's up with our good boys, the idiot twins, Edward and Alphonse.
They're not twins.
I like that it's like, he lost his arm and his leg. He lost his whole body. She was in the wind for a second. She's like, oh my god, wind!
I mean, they're all in wind this, like, entire intro.
People. Ed and Al came to Lior and put a stop.
This voice makes me think that this is all a propaganda video. Kind of like the fake propaganda in Clone Wars or in Starship Troopers.
Yeah, I love it. I
do wonder how much like state-sponsored propaganda is going to be a theme in this. With the Fuhrer being evil but also in charge.
Yeah, I don't
That is a mustache. You're in the middle of a city. People live here.
A little more!
Instead of like ambulance noise that they hear, they just sometimes hear explosions from alchemy, like...
What?
Tan Lines doesn't fuck around.
Nope.
For all we know, you could be the next one he comes after. Understood.
There's a lot of mustaches in this show.
Yeah. It's my favorite thing about it.
Lieutenant Colonel Hughes, you're the officer in charge of this case?
Yes, sir.
Is his sin tattoo under his eye patch? He's gonna pull it up and that's gonna be where the logo is.
Yeah.
It would be a cool reveal.
Yeah.
Remember? The crook who was using the usual coal mine concessions to line his own pockets? Anyway, the Elric brothers exposed what that dirty thief was up to, and now he's on the run.
I like setting up that your heroes have already had missions before.
Mm-hmm.
Go on in. The colonel's expecting you.
They showed up to his office. What they think was gonna fucking happen?
He transmuted this huge chimera right in front of us.
I still wonder how he was able to use the stone to do that.
The chimera was a transmutation? Oh.
The Sowing Life Alchemist, Shou Tucker. He's done some heavy research into chimera transmutation. I'll introduce you.
The names are so goofy.
Yeah.
Iron Blood, Sowing Life.
Doubt my motives. I'm trying to repay you for your work on the Lior case.
All right, Travis, calm down. I love him. He's my favorite person. You're my favorite person, but he's like up there.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Wait, you mean it talks? A chimera?
It only said one thing. I want to die.
That was so fucking dark. I feel like I'm not nearly stoned enough to watch this show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry about the mess. Ever since my wife ran out, this place has been a wreck. I'm not much of a housekeeper.
Dude, you got a kid. Figure it the fuck out. I'm sorry, but like...
I can't say for sure if it's going to be of any use to you or not. But why don't you go ahead and take a look at my laboratory?
What the fuck?
I'm going to head back to work now. I'll send somebody by to get you this evening.
Good talk.
Quite a catch, these two. A couple of prodigies.
I don't think adults should ever say quite a catch about a child.
Fair.
Or just about people.
Well, in case you forgot, we didn't come here to play horsey. That's what you want, is it? You've bested me twice, dog. This time, I, Edward Elric, will use my considerable powers to vanquish you! You mangy mutt!
What?
I couldn't tell you.
Let's just say I'm taking a break from a long day of research.
After all that, you must be dog tired.
It's from the Colonel. He says, don't forget, assessment day is coming soon.
Yes, please assure him I know.
What?
Assessment day means that he's under pressure, which means he's going to do something stupid.
You're right, Nina. I have to try hard. Or we'll be left with nothing again.
The fuck is happening?
Oh, my shoulders are killing me.
Maybe you should try to move around some, brother.
Both of them?
Yeah, not a bad idea, Al.
Are both of them killing you?
It reminds you of those like weird dinosaur
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
The reminders that Ed and Alex look kids are tough. The show is like, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, assessment day is coming soon.
Why would you uncertify
Well,
someone for doing something that's never been for not like what
get
he's done has
paid,
never
right?
been sure.
So if he's not doing anything that is worth them like paying him, then it's like more like grants, I guess.
Yeah, but we pay scientists all the time in the hopes that it eventually works out, right?
Yeah, I
State
think that
alchemists are given high pay and special privilege.
Oh, they're literally explaining it here.
Alchemists who are supposed to be pillars of science and truth are turned into the military's walking weapons as soon as they receive certification.
yeah, it's just kind of like they can't afford to pay everyone if they're not doing anything with it.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
So
Mr. Tucker!
Hey, Nina!
Mr. Tucker!
There you are. So you are home.
I did it, boys. I finally did it. A chimera that understands human speech.
No fucking way.
Person over there, that's Edward.
That person, Edward.
Yes, that's very good. Well done.
That person, Edward. That person, Ed.
No, he used his daughter and his dog.
I don't know.
Nina and Alexander. Where are they?
Wait, so the dog was like, I want to die was his wife? Figured out so quick. They're here to see the fucking girl. What'd you think was gonna happen?
2 years ago, it was your wife. This time, you used your own daughter and her dog to transmute a talking chimera.
I don't see what you're so upset about. This is how we progress. I would think a scientist should understand.
Shut up!
Are all of those people?
Someone's life, you say? You'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's why he's upset, you fucking fuck.
We are the same. We're the same. You're just like me. The opportunity was right in front of us and we took it. We had to, even though we knew it was against the rules.
Yeah, except one of you was fucking 11. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Edward, no. Daddy.
What the fuck is happening? They can't unfuse them. Right?
Even with all our powers, we can't do anything to change you back.
What is this show?
I'm sorry.
Can we play now? Can we play now?
Like hell, you're staying a state alchemist. Like hell.
What are we watching?
The state alchemist must be willing to act. able to take another's life when ordered to without question. Mr. Tucker's actions and our own may not be all that far apart.
Yes, they are!
You're Shou Tucker, correct?
Who are you? How did you get in here? There were military police out front.
Daddy's hurting. Daddy hurts. No, Daddy.
Off.
At least your passing will be in peace.
He just... It didn't seem like she was, like, in pain.
Yeah, but he's a bad dude. Yeah, like, he's not a good guy. In case the, like, murder... I was doing such a bad job of keeping my shit together this entire episode.
Yeah. What the fuck? Just, like, oh
when I said
God.
I wanted to watch you react to this show, I wanted to watch you react to
this episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know how at the end of last episode we talked about how I think like the like tone is weird? This is like, that's why the comedy stuff is extra strange when paired with how dark the show goes.
Yeah, but also
in this episode I thought it was handled better.
Yeah. I was gonna say this episode isn't really comedic in the dark moments.
I'm a little bit. I'm curious what the plot of this show is, because right now there isn't really one. We've kind of watched 4 episodes that are just kind of like 4 days in the life of Ed and Al
trying to get their bodies back. Yeah,
but like they don't seem to be connected in any way. Like in the first episode I was like, because the first episode sets up that they're there but they need a place to stay because they don't have a place to stay. And so I thought that was going to be like part of the plot of this show, but they always never, it doesn't seem like they live anywhere or like have any sort of like connection to a life. They're just in plots in each episode that are random places and like, I'm kind of waiting
So you have to remember this is a condensed version of the beginning of the first Full Metal. So things have kind of been squinched together. That's why they're wherever they need to be. They mention other things.
So the connective tissue is just missing from this version. But if I were to watch the other Full Metal Alchemist, I mean, that connective tissue is there a little bit more.
I mean, it's not so much that. It's the show is about Ed and Al trying to get their bodies back. That's the plot of the show. So them like going around.
That's the goal. That's their goal in the show.
Yeah.
But like the plot is like what is events leading to each other. Whereas right now it's just like, and then they went on this adventure, and then they went on this adventure.
Yeah, way more episodic right now.
Yeah, and it just because Ed and Al don't have. We'll talk about this episode in 1 second. I just want to bring this one up. Like, because for me, as seeing this first, because Ed and Al don't have functionally like a life that I can understand as characters, they right now they feel more like I don't know. It's weird to explain, but like there's no.
The problem is that like this
structure in their lives and so I don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah, that's what their life is. Their life is bopping around.
And then I wish this show set that up, or set up like that there's a barracks they go back to. Like I just wish that I understood anything about their.
Yeah, I think that is a little better established in the first one.
Okay, because right now this is like a completely separate mission to last week and that's fine.
The connective tissue is like the Philosopher's Stone.
This was hard to watch though. Like that was fucking brutal.
Yeah. No, I know. I was literally sitting here as soon as like I knew where this episode was going. I was like, and I like couldn't stop my face from like shaking. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna give everything away.
My question is, how did he become a state-sponsored alchemist without revealing how he did the chimera trick the first time? Did he just show up with an animal that said it wanted to die, and they were like, "Oh, you must have done it"? off screen.
He probably just lied about the paperwork behind it. Like,
But we saw, like, Ed had to do his test in front of people. Like, it wasn't like Ed, like, walked in with a spear and was like, I just alchemied this. There was, like, a panel that watched him do the alchemy.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand how he got away with murdering his wife and then, like, just showed up later and was like, oh, no, I alchemied this. I guess if you looked at it, you'd be like, there's no other way for that to exist other than alchemy. So maybe that's what it is. I just am kind of like...
It's something that there's never... It's not done. It's not been seen. So, it might be a process that takes a bunch of time. And so I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, it clearly doesn't. He did it in the morning the next day.
I just mean that, like, if you were to do this kind of alchemy... like with like just animals, it might be like a series of processes to get there. I don't know.
I think my point is just that this is on the government in a way for allowing this to happen.
The government gets things wrong a lot.
Yeah, that was bleak. Interesting story though, and like I think like thematically very rich. I don't love that Nina dies at the end. I get they're trying to set up Tan Lines as a bad person.
I could be wrong, but for some reason I remember Nina living for a lot longer before she does get killed eventually.
In the original?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I might be wrong on that, but...
that's what this Valentine's card is.
Yes. Let's form a pair Valentine.
We got this at Katsucon, and I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah, I was wearing Lust, and somebody gave that to me, which I understood, and he did not.
I didn't know what this was. I'd never seen this like art before.
Yeah.
And now it just like lives on our desk. That's so funny. Let's form a pair because, oh my God.
Yes,
this is so dark. Who the fuck made this? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
In like a kind way, but it's from Wacky Tacky Socks. Wacky Tacky Socks. You put your name on this. What the fuck? This is depressing as shit. Why would you hand this to people?
Yeah, no, it's
This show's fucking strange. It's good. I enjoy it. It's a little like untethered right now, and I hope that it can find some like it just needs a couple of like grounding elements.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it works for me. The comedy doesn't always, but like a lot of the more serious stuff works for me. I think Ed and Al's relationship really works for me. I love their bond. I love that this episode dives into them being kids a little bit more, and the fact that they're not fully mature.
And then just
but they view themselves as fully mature because they
have to.
Well, and they have a job from the government. Like they're put in that position of literal power, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting about that is that Ed views himself as an adult, and he isn't.
Yeah.
And he's not emotionally mature enough to realize that he was 11 when he made those decisions, and he isn't the same as that guy, right?
Yeah.
Because when that guy's saying you and I are the same, like, no, dude, Ed was an 11-year-old boy whose mom had died, and you're a full-grown man who is desperate to keep a pocket watch, so you murder your daughter. Like, those are not the same thing.
Yeah.
And Ed, because he's a child, isn't yet old enough to realize that he wasn't old enough to be the same as that man.
Yeah.
And that it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And so because he's a youth, and because this episode emphasizes his youthfulness and his immaturity, when you get to him seeing the parallels between him and this older man, you buy that he can't see the difference.
Yes.
Because he's a kid. And I think that
like
this episode...
when you're 16 and you think you know everything,
Yeah.
and then at 26 you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, I was...
And then you're 30 and you're like, oh my God, at 26 I was a child, right?
Yeah.
I think that what this episode was really good. Like, this is a fantastic episode of television.
Yeah.
It is just disconnected from the previous episodes in a way that I want this show to feel a little bit more connected to itself.
Yeah.
Outside of just Ed and Al on an adventure. But for the most part, I think that it was a really impressive use of telling the story about youthfulness and immaturity and this sociopathic man who just did the worst fucking thing ever.
Yeah. It got me. I was like, I was losing it a little bit, and I knew, but like having you here for the experience, like seeing you like realize it, like it's like I'm kind of understanding why people watch like reaction videos now, because before we started making them, like it was never content.
I am your live reaction video.
But like literally, like the moment when you realize what's going on, I'm like.
Is this episode going to be like the episode of the show that does the best for our channel.
I'm
gonna throw this fucking dog on the thumbnail and my face being like, we'll see how it does.
Yeah, no, people will watch that because you said, it's brilliant and fucked up and.
Well, and the animation choice, and I'm sure it comes from the manga, but like the choice to make Nina as a dog be like physically sad to look at is interesting. Because the chimera is made of two happy things, and the chimera itself doesn't, like, as the chimera, she doesn't seem that sad. But the way they animated the arch of the neck just makes it seem pitiful. Yeah. Which made it so much worse.
Yeah.
So Tan Lines has to be like the season 1 big bad, right? There's no way he's, getting away with killing all these state alchemists forever.
I am not sure.
You don't remember?
Like, I truly don't remember.
So I have a question. Uh-huh. They keep bringing up the Ishvalan Civil War.
Yep.
Is that just like backstory, or is that relevant? Like, is Ishval the country they're in?
So
I'm confused why it's a civil, because they said the Civil War.
Yeah.
Which implies that it's within their country. Is Ishval like a state? Is that like the South?
To be honest, I don't exactly remember.
Okay.
The Ishval is a bigger part of the first show.
Oh, but it's part of the stuff that gets like condensed out of the show?
Yeah, okay. They talk about it a lot, and it's still part of this story because it is actually very important. But you don't see it as, like, I'm pretty sure you see it in the first one. I don't know if you see it in Brotherhood. I could be wrong. The comments are probably going to be like, no, you fucking idiot. Sorry, I don't remember.
I mean, I'm sure the show will answer this, and I shouldn't ask.
But
like,
I
shouldn't,
but like, I'm glad that you picked up on the name because it is very important.
Well, they keep bringing it up, and I don't. It's just weird to like keep bringing it up, and it's not weird. The show brings it up because it's part of the show. Yeah. The first time I remember it was just Ishval, and now it's a civil war. Yeah. That some of our characters fought in, so it can't have been that long ago.
It was not.
Also, at the beginning of this episode, that guy builds all those cannons in the street. Like, this is a world that is unconcerned with the world that it lives in. These alchemists will... Like, his first step on fighting Tan Lines was to destroy the entire street.
Yeah.
He didn't even try, like, a single cannon first. He went immediately to 20 cannons, pointed in different... Like, they weren't even pointed at him. Like, they were pointed around.
Yeah.
Like, cannons shoot straight, buddy.
There is also a reason
he's not a very good alchemist.
That the citizens call them, like...
The dogs of the military?
Dogs of the military, the devils.
It makes sense. They're fucking terrible at their job. Mm-hmm. They're so... Like, he should have done the iron cage thing first. Why are you going cannons first?
Yeah, probably.
The guy hasn't even done anything at that point. Mm-hmm. And you have an iron cage thing that you think is going to trap him. Obviously, it doesn't work. But, like, you went for, like, 20 cannons in the middle of the street in the middle of the city first. That was your first step. That's bad work. Like that, you should lose your pocket watch.
You get a D. You get a D- on that one.
What? But why would you do that? I mean, I get it. For the anime, it's cool and like whatever. But but like you're in the middle of a street. There's windows near you. Yeah. Although one thing that is weird about the show is that sometimes when they animate buildings, the windows and the walls are the same color, so I can't tell what material anything is.
Yeah.
So
they look like dead and deserted.
Yeah, the cities look very uninhabited.
Yeah.
Which it may be intentional, and maybe we'll learn more about that later. It is just funny that like anytime they're out at night, maybe there's a curfew. It is a military state, so like maybe that's what it is. I'm sure we'll learn more later. But it is funny that like they can always do alchemy because there's never anybody around.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm fucked up right now. That episode really fucked me up. I'm like not okay. I'm really hurting for Nina.
Yeah.
She was a good kid.
I feel like it's especially rough after watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
Oh man, no spoilers for that, but like woof.
This show really is not afraid to like show children in the worst situations possible.
Yeah, I mean the show doesn't pull its punches in a lot of different ways.
No, and it's good. I think that like the reason why it works for me is because there's not a single episode of the show, despite my point that like it feels disconnected.
Yep.
Thematically, each episode of the show is very strong.
Yeah.
And I think that like from a writing standpoint, the the show has something to say with what it's doing.
For sure.
And I think that is to the credit of the show in that it is very much like pointing at things and saying like this episode is about the dangers of science. And like last episode was about the dangers of when the church goes too far. And this episode is a counterpoint to last episode in that it is about the dangers of when science goes too far.
Yeah.
And the like desperation people can feel to not lose their station in life.
Yep.
And there's a lot here that I think is really well done. It is shown through like the most horrific thing possible, but it used that to talk about a theme that I think is relevant to the real world in a way that I think it was really good.
Yeah.
I kind of wish Nina hadn't been like violently killed by somebody we don't know at the end.
Yeah, I might be wrong, but I don't think that it happens that way in the original.
That was the only like heartbreaking part of the episode. Like I don't mind him dying, like fuck him, he's awful. But I think like killing something because you pity it is just gross. And
well, yeah, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Like he does not give a fuck.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm curious to learn more about him. This show doesn't allow anybody to be evil for evil's sake, except for the sins so far. Like they're like because if you go back to the first episode with the fucking I don't know whatever his dumb name from the Fuhrer is, the Ice Blast Alchemist or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like even his murder of people was because of what the military made him do, and like there was a reason for it.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that once we get the reasoning behind this guy, it's gonna make sense and I'm gonna be interested in it. But that was just a particularly brutal scene to leave off on. Also, Ed and Al are then shown to be on the stairs of the building that the guy's in. So like, what stairs did that guy go in?
No, different building.
Oh, it was a different building.
Yeah, no, not the same building.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. If you like this video, like and subscribe to it. This is a tough one, but if you dislike this video, you're a bad person. But you can do that. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry. We must feed her. This episode, the algorithm goddess is Nina.
Yeah. All right, you're gonna have to turn that down.
If you want to follow us, you can go down to Nerdy Nightly anywhere on the internet or
Claris Polaris.
I cried all night last night. And I'm crying again.
Oh, Critical Role. Yeah.
I've been crying a lot lately.
I'm sorry.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah. You know, that, yeah. Sorry about that.
It's okay. My sinuses are just flooding. Do something nerdy tonight, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.